What's going on, you guys? This is Nick Adventurer 1994 here, and it is Monday, June 13th, 2022. And what today is actually the 6th anniversary of when I left 9th grade back in 2016. It was Monday, June 13th, 2016. And now it's Monday the 13th in June again, but this time in 2022. So since that, today is Monday 13th in June again, and I left school in 9th grade on Monday 13th in June back in 2016, and now that's the 6th anniversary of me leaving 9th grade, I decided to talk about my thoughts on the 2021 and 22 school year. I just gotta admit that it was actually one of the worst school years I've ever been in. You know, so the 2021 and 22 school year has been one of the worst years I've ever been in because of, COVID still being a thing. We actually had back-to-back hurricanes before the school year started. We had Henri and Ida flooded New York City and Philadelphia and spawned tornadoes in New Jersey and wrecked Louisiana so badly that there was a lot of flooding, and we weren't allowed to go inside Louisiana. And none of the evacuates were allowed back until things started to improve. But the severe thing was the death of my grandmother. My grandmother was dying in the hospital back in August, and she passed away on August 20th, 2021 at 6:30 at night before Henri came to the Northeast and wreaked havoc in New England and eastern Long Island. Yeah, I remember seeing all that heavy rain come down, but the wind wasn't much of an issue over here because it kept shifting further east, and I'm not gonna underestimate it, but the impact seemed pretty light over here with the heavy rain. And it was a little bit breezy, but nothing severe. This thing actually weakened pretty quick, but they were fearing bigger impacts. I mean, there was a lot of flooding in Connecticut and a lot of widespread power outages up in New England. Rhode Island took a big hit. There was a lot of widespread power outages, and there was a lot of flooding and a lot of heavy rainfall up there. Despite the thing quickly weakening. I mean, I know it's a tropical storm, guys, by the time it got up there, and it lost hurricane strength, but even a tropical storm could still do a lot of damage. I mean, that was a high-end tropical storm when Henri made landfall. But Ida was the biggest story, that it was actually having comparisons to Hurricane Sandy because of how much flooding it was causing in New York City and Philadelphia. So Ida was the biggest story, and it was spawning all these tornadoes in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and Louisiana had a lot of flooding. I just mentioned it made landfall as a Cat 4, and it went over the Gulf of Mexico. So Ida did a lot of damage for this country, and it actually made landfall on Katrina's anniversary, when Katrina destroyed Louisiana. So Ida and Katrina had the same date of when they made landfall. So, about my grandmother, she was actually dying for 2 weeks in the hospital. And there was just nothing we could do anymore. So, she passed on August 20th, 2021 at 6:30 at night. And the funeral and the wake were actually held on the 25th and 26th. I mean, we couldn't have it the Sunday or Monday because of the hurricane, Henri. So we had to do on the 25th and 26th. And it was actually pretty hot out. It was like the upper end of the 80s and the lower end of the 90s in temperatures. Yeah, it was so hot out that the funeral was cut short. And after that, Ida came, and believe it or not, Ida actually started the school year. Ida came on September 1st, 2021, overnight, producing a lot of rainfall in this area. And it was gone by morning. It was the first day of school afterwards. The next morning, it was September 2nd, the first day of school. Yeah. So, as I was saying, Ida actually started my school year. Mine and my brother's school year in this district. Because it came on September the 1st, and the first day of school was September the 2nd, the next morning. And Ida's remnants were gone the next morning. All the rain stopped and my brothers went to school the next day. It was pretty sunny out when Ida was all over. And we actually had to do the 40 days thing because of my grandmother's passing. We even did the 40 days while we were in Disney. And by the time we got back, and when it was October, we did not decorate for Halloween because my mom was mourned about my grandmother's passing. And in October, 2 bomb cyclones actually hit the West Coast, and 1 bomb cyclone in October hit right here on the 26th of October. It was a nor'easter, and it became Tropical Storm Wanda once it left down the Atlantic. As it moved out to sea, it gained all this tropical moisture, and it was marked as a disturbance by the National Hurricane Center when it was a nor'easter, and it became Tropical Storm Wanda. And during December, we did not really decorate for Christmas because of my grandmother's passing. And we only put up a small Christmas tree, and that was it. Because of how hard it was that holiday season. Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas were hard this year, and so was Easter. Because both of my maternal grandparents are gone, and this is actually the first holiday season without them. It's been a pretty awkward holiday season this year. I never, ever want to live another holiday season like that again. Hopefully it will be my last for a while. It's been pretty hard this holiday season, facing the fact that I no longer have maternal grandparents. What also happened in December was this major tornado outbreak in Kentucky and Arkansas, and it was spawning all these deadly tornadoes. And actually, this same system brought in a wind advisory for me at 50 miles an hour, which is still strong, capable of power outages and a lot of downed trees. And the Great Lakes cities were experiencing high wind warnings up to 70 miles an hour. Like places like Toronto, Buffalo, Detroit, Cleveland, anyone near the Great Lakes had a high wind warning that weekend. Yeah, I had Santa come by on a fire truck, which is the annual tradition of this town during the holiday season. And the winds were still going when I was watching this Toy Story marathon on Freeform. So, while I was watching Toy Story on Freeform, like the marathon that Freeform has after Santa passes by, Buffalo was actually at the peak intensity of their winds. I saw a sustained 44 miles per hour winds on my phone when I looked up Buffalo. And that's pretty strong. That's damaging. I mean, I know it says 44 miles per hour, but whether sustained or gust, that's pretty strong. Yeah, Buffalo had widespread power outages. And it all happened when Santa came and I was watching Toy Story on Freeform. I was also watching Rudolph and Frosty on Channel 2, which air on Channel 2 every single year, that same Saturday. So yeah, we did not put up any Christmas decoration this year, except for a Christmas tree, because it's been pretty hard without my grandmother. And like I said before, this is actually the first holiday season where I had Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and Easter without my grandparents. And many more deaths happened in this household. I lost like 4 pets this school year. My brother lost his guinea pig. We lost a parakeet. Our 2 cats are dead now. We lost Sophia and Butter, our 2 cats, by the time the new year rolled around in 2022. So we have no cats anymore. And we only have 1 parrot and 3 dogs. And so yeah, this has been a pretty hard school year, and with COVID still being an issue, it's definitely been really bad. So losing my grandmother and all these other deaths was the whole reason why this school year has gotten really bad for all of us. And oh yeah, the Giants are still a pretty bad team. They struggled once again. They're actually at a 5-year playoff drought. It actually surpassed the 2012 to 2015 drought. And the NHL actually suspended a lot of games and restricted cross-border travel till the holiday seasons were over because of how bad COVID was. And we had the new Omicron variant. So, yeah, my thoughts on this school year was really bad. Despite going to Disney 2 times this year, this school year has been absolutely horrible for our family. So, I guess that's it. Bye.